What's up guys, MikeCoco back here bringing you guys a very late and apologetic Asus first impressions, and we'll get further into that maybe later in the video. But basically I was sick and I'm still sick and got a lot of stuff to do. I was very busy, so I haven't had a lot of time to do any hardcore Legion. Pretty much just autopiloted the last few weeks. So back to Asus, who is our new hero for the week. He is a staff user, which means that automatically he is a magic based user and he ignores all physical defense. His skill is not that unique. It's a 300 Fury skill, which is right off the bat slightly worse compared to some other people. And his skill is a simple reduction in attack and defense. He is your standard debuffer and very similar to Jannette, where they both have reductions in the factor of attack and defense reductions. Generally speaking, most heroes only have either attack reduce or defense debuff. But these two heroes have both, which is kind of nice. And even with his 3k int, which is also quite nice, as it's the standard for Season 5 magic users, he does quite a bit of damage. Not terrible, and definitely obviously more than Season 5 heroes. But the reason why Asus does not work so well is because his skill is not unique enough. Sure, he does combine both attack and defense debuff, but we already have a lot of heroes that do these things separately. For example, we have Season 5 heroes like Karina. Karina already reduces defense, and we have people like Lasita who have attack buffs, and they buff their own attack, which is, you can almost think of it as an equivalent to having attack reduction for against the mobs and the enemy. So if you think about it, a lot of these skills, or a lot of the unique factors in Ace's skill have already been covered by a lot of these heroes. And what's worse is that even though Elegant Karina and other heroes may only be able to attack the front line, like Jannette, both of these heroes can only attack the front line and they can't hit the boss. But generally speaking, you usually only want to debuff the boss, because when you're playing Legion, you obviously want to be able to hit floors where you'll be able to clear them easily. You won't just go out and hit like floor 85-5 if you can't even finish floor 60. So what this means is that you'll generally be able to clear the mobs before the boss fairly easily, either through one shots or just without losing any heroes. So it really doesn't make any sense to attack and debuff mobs, because they're generally meant to be taken out. It is usually only the boss that is difficult. So there's no point in having a 3x3 attack that debuffs attack and defense, because you can just simply clear the mobs and then attack and debuff the boss. So that's why I don't think a 3x3 is that useful. And worse, in a worst case scenario, Asus has 300 Fury, which means that if you're low on Fury, you won't even be able to use the skill to reduce attack and defense. So that's personally why I don't think Asus is such a good choice. Obviously, he's going to do quite a bit of damage because he's under event, but after event, he's just going to be another throwaway character. It just doesn't really make sense to pair him with anyone, because 300 Fury is a lot, and you really don't need a 3x3 for attack and defense, debuff, because it basically only helps you when it's applied to the boss. Unless of course you're playing Bounty Hunter, in which the mobs do quite a bit of damage. But if you're already at a very high level of how should I say this, high level or near end game, then Bounty Hunt usually isn't a problem. Some people even auto Bounty Hunt too, and it really shouldn't matter. So I do not recommend getting Asus solely for the fact that he's just not useful. On paper and theoretically, he sounds useful because you can attack debuff and defense debuff any target you want. But when it comes down to it and you think about it, you only really need to debuff the boss, because the mobs don't matter. You're going to one-shot them anyway. So it really doesn't matter. There's a nice typo for you guys. So I'll just show you guys the 5-star stats. Obviously he's not a tank, so strength and vitality are not going to be that high. Int is around 3.6k, which is pretty decent. And that's pretty much it for Asus. I just don't see any point in using him. It just doesn't make any sense. So that's pretty much it for this first impressions, guys. Peace.